senator from Chandrila.
Fellow senators, friends, colleagues, allies, adversaries, I stand before you this morning with a heavy heart. I stand this morning with a difficult message. I believe we are in crisis. The distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss. Of all the things at risk, the loss of an objective reality is perhaps the most dangerous. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. When truth leaves us, when we let it slip away, when it is ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. This chamber's hold on the truth was finally lost on the Gorman Plaza. What took place yesterday, what happened yesterday on Gorman, was unprovoked genocide. Yes, genocide. And that truth has been exiled from this chamber. And the monster screaming the loudest, the monster we've helped create, the monster who will come for us all soon enough, is Emperor Palpatine.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Lorepod podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, with one hell of a fucking intro, to say the least. And today, everybody, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering Andor Season 2. Now, there's a little bit to go with this, I should say. There is going to be spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't seen it at all, then I would recommend pressing pause on this podcast and watching Andor. Probably the most peak Star Wars of all time. And we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about the lore. We're going to be talking about Season 2 in general and what it means for Star Wars, what it means going forward with nerddom. All right, so diving into it, Season 2, I'm absolutely a good 9.5 out of 10 for me, I should say. And here's the reason why. I want to clarify, because I know a lot of people say I just like to stroke things a little bit here and just be a shell or a sellout. But here's the thing. I kind of like the Kevin Smith rule. I'm just going to talk about shit that I like. If I didn't like it, I'll mention a little bit about something, but I always won't talk about it. Positivity, we need a lot of it, everybody. So I want to say 9.5 out of 10, only because while I did enjoy it, it was beautifully well done. The first couple episodes with the showing how the rebel soldiers that they currently have are a little bit disorganized. Like the disorganization of the rebels, I guess I could say, on the Yavin 4. That was a little bit drawn out, I think. And then the Mon Mothma marriage was a little bit more drawn out. That's just me. I want to say that's the only problems I had with the show. Other than that, acting, superb. The writing, superb. Everything in this was superb. Costume design, the effects, the sound design, all of it. Bringing back characters who, from Andor Season 1, and of course, Andor, well, it kind of feels like the Rogue One movie in general was a brilliant chef's choice. And a show where you don't need multiple episodes, but it gave you what you wanted to see. There's always more to see in Star Wars because it's a big galaxy, but I believe it gave us something new. It gave us something different. And with Andor Season 2, and Season 1 was like the beginning of it, Season 2 really fucking hit home. Something more than... And I should clarify, I love most of the Star Wars stuff out. It gave us more than just a popcorn movie. It gave us more than just, the usual shit that people give us when you say you're a Star Wars fan. Like, oh, you like the guns, explosions, blah, 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 desktop, blah, blah. No. They gave you more. It gave you real hitting home topics. They gave you real seriousness, real character, real depth. And dare I fucking say it, really high stakes and an adult tone to this sort of thing. That as people who like OG fans and such, and Clone Wars fans, because Clone Wars fans, hey, we're getting up there in age, buddies. We have the opportunity here to see what Star Wars can be, because we've never had anything like this. We had it in Rogue One. They gave us a bit in Season 1 Andor, and Season 2 just gave us this. gave us more than just explosions in 1 or 2. It gave us so much character, I should say. Now, it did also add a little bit to the lore. And, of course, this is the Lorepod podcast, so we're going to talk about the lore. But it's hard to quantify and put into words about it because it really dove into these characters. And, yes, there is flash forwards in time, which I haven't heard anybody criticize at all. It's like, oh, year later, oh, year later, oh, year later. Because, realistically, you couldn't form an army in, like, an episode. Unless you're like, giant group here that's been forming. Like, it's going to take time. The rebellion took time. And most people are like, oh, they just got together. And it's like, no. They had the ISB, which, in case you didn't realize, is the CIA of the Empire. And, boy, are they CIA times 10. Like, holy shit. You have that. You have this galaxy-wide effect, the prison system. You have undercover people, like people working undercover, like Lutheran, like, all of them, dare I say about that too. You have Gorman, which Gorman took, if you take a step back from the story there a little bit, the Gorman massacre, it took them like a year or two to set up. Like, it wasn't just a quick thing here. The Gorman massacre, they even said, like, you're forward. And it's like, oh, it took like 2 years to make it so they could use this cover-up of a rebellion that they formed in there. 4 of the Kyber crystals that are on there, on that planet, to mine it and commit genocide on a planet so they could just use its resources. Which, by the way, was done a couple of times already by the Empire. So it wasn't anything new at all. Director Krennic coming back as well, I should say. We got a little bit more of him. And in interviews, we did hear that he was like, he's more of a diva. The actor who played him said that he's more of a diva this time. He's more of a sassy, but also he's like really high on himself sort of situation with him right now, which makes sense because he's got like all the power and he's not. The events of Rogue One haven't happened yet, so he's like, oh, okay, I'm doing great. And I should also say too, the interrogation scene where he lays the finger on that officer, when he lays the finger on her, this like puts his finger on his head, on her head, that right there, that was improv. So power to all those actors, the crew and everything like that, who were probably like, oh shit. Like, he improv that, and that is good. Like, and I should also say cinematography in this show, too. It's very good. It's light when it needs to be. It's gritty when it needs to be. It gives you those good angles that instill fear into you, but then also hope as well. Who would have thought I'd cry with Cassian just walking through shit there? The Yavin 4 setup as well, like, it, I think was perfectly done. It's like, we get teased it, it's going to happen, but then it's also it takes time for everything to get put together. Now, the lore of Andor Season 2, because boy, oh boy, you could go a 2-hour-long episode. I could just blabber on about it in here, but let's get to the lore about Andor Season 2, what it gave us. And what we got in right in the beginning there was a new type of TIE fighter, and this one was weird, oddly piloted and shit, very kind of different, right? From what I've seen, and from what it seemed familiar, that was a prototype version of Kylo Ren's TIE fighter that you'll see later on in the new trilogy. I was like, oh shit, okay. I could be wrong on that one, but that one is a little bit iffy on what is seen in there. I will say, too, going into this, there was some tie-ins to Rebels, the Mon Mothma escape. That there, which, by the way, one hell of a beautiful fucking speech. I put it in the beginning of this episode for a damn reason. We knew she gave a big speech, and it was changed from Rebels from what we saw, but Ghost Team was the one who, from Rebels, is the one who picked up Mon instead of Andor. Now, the reason why for that is because, and they even talked about it, which was great lore, she can't be brought to the rebellion by the undercover people. It can't be brought by the solo agents and shit like that. It has to be brought in. She has to be brought and shown by the rebel soldiers because that will motivate. I'm like, that's brilliant. Brilliant because it's fucking true. It is so true. Got the scene where he's just like, who's that? That's my driver. Can we trust him? No, he's an ISB plant. What's his name? Clarence, I got it. Don't worry about it. It's like, who the hell are you? He just shoots. Oh, God, I love Andor so much. What's his name? Like, that is like a thing, like, let me disarm him using his name. And they're like, don't worry, I got it. And it's like, what? This shit is fucking clean. It's great. We have a little bit of that there. We see, really, also, by the way, we've known the Rebel Alliance formed, or people involved, blah, blah, blah. We really see how Luthen and Markey assembled the rebellion. Like, Lutheran was there, and he was the big guy. And I think the most sad but beautiful part is he will never get credit because of the dark deeds he had to do. Like, because of his dark deeds, he had to do to get them there, which was pointed out by Andor to the council members, which he's like, fuck you. We are here because of this man. We need to help him. And they're like, but we separate. And it's like, bitch, you can't take the high ground when the Foundation needs your help. You can't just avoid your Foundation. Like, come on. And he would have fit in, I think, pretty well there, too. He would have, like, if Lutheran was able to survive, I really think we would have a different version of fucking the OG trilogy. I really do. Yeah, 4, 5, 6 would definitely be really different, I think, if Lutheran was there and Maki. But seeing that way of how it was done, it was espionage. It was undercover. It was a man and woman living in enemy territory to get it done. The undercover radio work, all of the shit that it took, like, it added so much to the Rebel Alliance to show how much work was put in, and the motivation there too for planets being genocide to be just mineralized, like just not colonized even. Just used for resources. Like, oh my fucking god! If you watch Andor season 1 and 2 and tell me the Empire, I like the Empire still, eat fucking shit. Yeah, they may have cool looking tech. That's the only thing you can say. That's legitimately, yeah. You can't be like, the Empire's motives are good. Fuck you. What are you talking about? Gorman Massacre, which they did include, which was by the way, I should say a thing from the Legends universe, which was the extended universe before Disney purchased from Lucasfilm Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and all that shit, and then said it's not canon. They've slowly been bringing it into that canon. And they mentioned it too in there, like when Moff Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin, Director Krennic, when they brought it in, I'll be taking control of this for the Emperor. God, all right. They're like protesting, and he literally took a Star Destroyer and just landed it, killing like 500 people, or actually a lot more than I believe. And then they immortalized it, and they're like, shit. And then the second Gorman Massacre, which was just a genocide of the planet, but K2 droids coming in there too. We actually see K2 droids being used a little bit more too. We've seen them recently in the Jedi games that you have to battle against and shit. And you had a lightsaber in those. Seems a little bit easier to kill them. Andor season 1, we saw a brief glimpse of them, but then in this one, we actually were able to see how much damage and effect they have on this, on people. Like, they're blaster proof, they're strong as hell. Like, I feel like the assassin droids played a little bit of, from the Clone Wars, I feel like those guys played a little bit into their design. I really do. I feel like there's assassin droids mixed with, like, I don't know, separatist droids in there. I just feel like it's very separatisty. It really is. I want to know who started the fucking who built the K2 droids, because they need to be shot. they oh god. And so we see all of that. We see the formation of the rebellions. We see where they're at. We see how Melchi gets brought in as well. We see these people and where they go from there. And we know. I think we can safely say when you watch A New Hope, Melchi's there. These people are there. The council's there. All the other shit. They are there. And it just extends so much more into this. Gorman Massacre, what it was, that being added to the lore of things that happened as well. I mean, it's not anything that can be ignored when you have that time period now. Which I don't think we are. I think we're going to be focused on like 12 BBY now, I want to say. There's some deep cuts for those guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about with that, Star Wars fans. I think we're going to be focusing that. I think that's when Mandalorian takes place, somewhere around then. But if we go back to, like, Empire, if we go back to the New Hope era timeline, and then we're in there, or anywhere in between the OGs, we're going to have to take a look at the Gorman Massacre, because that's a big-ass fucking thing. The Mon Mothma speech, all of that. And I think Rebels also said there was a Gorman Massacre as well. So that was also brought in. But that was beautifully well. It was, you want to hate it, and it makes me cry every time you watch it. But it is so well done in this, and it's like the Empire just shoots its own people in order to start like a genocide. You're like, what the fuck? We do see the downfall finally of the ISB with the head of the ISB. I mean, his agents there, they're all falling apart. Everything went to shit. Death Star has been leaked out, which you find that out too, that the ISB knew about the fucking Death Star, because how could you not? And they were working years to keep it quiet, which, god damn, I couldn't imagine that pain and suffering. And what does the head of the ISB do once the ISB has fallen? Well, we should also make it clear, too, ISB was also being affected by the Rebels TV show as well, so overall, their ass is getting kicked everywhere all of a sudden. The head of the ISB shoots himself in the head. Because, like, he would be a fucking problem. He would be a problem. And a lot of people are saying when he was hearing that message sent out about hope and freedom and against the Empire, when he was listening to that message that was been broadcast everywhere in the galaxy, you could see, and beautiful fucking acting, by the way, you could see he knew. He's like, I won't be a rebel, but it's spreading. And he even asked his partner, he's like, why do you think it's spreading? Because he knew. He's like, we knew. He gave it away. He's like, what we're doing is killing ourselves. And we're not, like, we keep doing what we're doing. It's going to destroy the Empire. And freedom is always going to, like, the rebellion's always going to be there. And everything I did was for nothing. All the dark, dirty shit was for nothing. And you saw that in him. And you are like, oh, shit. Shit. And I should also make it clear, too, it is funny seeing a Han Solo blaster. Like, he had the same type of blaster Han Solo has. So it proves that, Andor Season 2 gave us the true fact. Solo has a blaster that is not just his. I always wondered, like, where the hell does that thing come from? Who knows at this point? Who knows? All right, everybody. But this has been a little bit of Andor Season 2, a little bit of the lore that's been added to it. Literally, you can watch Season 1 and Season 2, and you can just do a fucking binge watch of Rogue One right afterward. And I have yet to, as of this recording, I have yet to rewatch Rogue One after watching Andor Season 2. Oh, should also say, there's two more things I want to hit. Of course, Andor's kid. I firmly believe, and I know I just fucking dropped that. Andor has a child. Like, he had a kid with her. And I think we're not going to see that ever again. We're not going to see the child. We're not. I would be shocked. I would also be mad because I want the kid to have nothing. And I don't think his mom, Bix would allow that. She was like, no. And maybe he would rise up, and then be part of the resistance and shit like that against the First Order. Maybe, I guess. But maybe he's there at the end battle scene in Rise of Skywalker. I'll take that. But Cassian's kid, you know what happens to him, but you just know he lives on. So he does live on through a child. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, it broke me. And Mackie saw, and I know not a lot of people caught this, but as he saw Melshi and all that, and the rebellions and the Force healer, which was a great thing to have on there, by the way, that there's still Force sensitive people, and she was a Force healer. And she even called out, she's like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's probably why she wasn't ever tracked down, because it was like nothing really there. So, like, what is she gonna do? And her being there and having for to help the soldiers and motivate them shit too, fucking beautiful. Bail Organa, beautifully done in there, how he's trying to still be undercover, try to help, and how he even came to Andor and he's like, I'm gonna die fighting the Empire. I'm gonna go down swinging. And he did. In a way, he did. Even though we know what happens to him as well. It's a show you're just watching, like everyone's gonna die. But Mackie was able to see that sunrise. And and more people need to talk about this scene. She woke up and she was able to see the sunrise that Lutheran was never gonna see. And that was the rebellion. And that was the armies that she wanted, that she grew up wanting to see, to be a part of. She saw the army. She saw the base. She saw the community, all of it there. And she finally saw it. Oh, I'm going to cry. A little positivity. We get an origin for K2SO on where that happened, which is the Gorman Massacre. And, of course, transferring him to this fucking murder bot. Just murdered so many people. And is brought in like that, too. Oh, God. K2SO was... God damn, when he appeared, he was so... they didn't nerf him at all. They didn't do anything like that. He was just put back together. Him coming back to life was even great because they had all, like, 30 soldiers around him ready to fucking kill him. They're like, no. Just taking him from the Gorn Massacre, which was smart, by the way. It was smart to take a big droid. Like, Cassian's like, hey, this thing wrecks house. We can use it to get into places. Like, this is a good tool. Very fucking smart. Very smart. I should also make it clear he was a horror movie because of when they were in the apartments... And he just starts murdering everybody, and he uses an ISB agent as a human. He doesn't need to do it, but he uses an ISB agent as a human fucking shield. And you're like, what? He's just dead. And he's like, and the guy's like, the soldiers are shooting him like, oh, God, I'm going to fucking die. It had to be, it was horrifying to watch. Like, it was great. I love it. And the sassy attitude. Alan Tudyk coming in there, as of course, always. But everybody, this has been a little dive into the lore, maybe what you missed a little bit, and a little bit of the review of Andor Season 2. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Lorepod Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes. And then also social media, my Twitch, Instagram, and X is going to be in the description box down below. Everybody, give me a follow on there for the adventures, for pop culture that I do, education, animals, dinosaurs, all the things like that. You'll be shocked on the adventures. Besides that, everybody, again, be sure to subscribe, comment, and leave a review. It helps us out greatly on this show as well. And stay tuned for some really, really fun episodes of the Lorepod Podcast coming soon. All right, everybody, in today's crazy-ass world of the Empire, stay creative.